I watched Real Sports earlier this week on HBO, which as always was a terrific show.
Yeah, do a great job.
And they had LaRue Martin on, former #1 overall pick in the NBA draft. Of course, we're talking NBA draft right now. And it didn't work out for him as a pro basketball player.
You're dating yourself, by the way. What was it, 1972?
No,
Yeah.
but he's still, he's regarded as one of the all-time busts. But the thing is,
what's he doing?
The story has a great resolution because he went back to school, got his degree, and now he's an executive in Chicago with UPS. So he's got a nice life.
Good deal.
And that's what it's all about. I mean, education gives you a chance to be competitive in the society we live in, and gives you a chance to get a job and make a good living for yourself. So I think with us giving these kids an opportunity to get a scholarship to go to college, further their education, make them in a position where they can be more competitive to be successful in life. That's kind of what we're all about.
It's Warren Moon with Steve and Dave. You starting to see some stuff going back and forth, especially on the player side, and we're pro player on the NFL struggle here with the labor. But are you starting to see some tweets, some mentions every once in a while where you're like, oh God, I don't think the guys get it?
Well, I think the thing is going to get resolved.
Yeah.
They're too smart on both sides. I think the first so many months was just because of posturing. They had time to do that. They had time to go through the legal process. They had time to, kind of flex their muscles and say, no, my side is right, no, my side is right. Now we're getting down close to training camp time, and I think when any labor discussion or any labor agreement, it always comes down to whenever you're running out of time, that's when the deal seems to get done, and that's what's going on right now. There's a lot of talk going on. I think they have the structure of a deal right now, and I think in the next 2 weeks they're going to get this thing done so they can get the season started on time. These owners do not want to lose any more money, especially with preseason games. They make more money in preseason games than they do during the regular season. They don't want to lose any of that.
Well, I'm trying to think of the length of your playing career. Were you involved in one of these?
I was. Okay. I was in '87.
Okay, and what's your recollection?
'87, and I was our player rep. I was on the executive committee.
What was that like?
It was quite an experience. I had to not only organize practices to keep the guys in shape in that, because we were actually in season. And we never knew when ours was going to break because they were using replacement players for the first 4 weeks. So we could have broke any time in there. We had already went through training camp, and then we went on strike right before the regular season. And I had to go and organize picket duty, where our guys had to be on picket lines so many hours throughout the day. So it was very tenuous because those guys were upset about what was going on.
What was more difficult, going back to the players and organizing and talking them off the ledge to calm them down, or dealing with the Bulldogs on the other side who wanted to break the union?
Well, both.
Yeah.
You had these you had these real top, these staunch Teamsters guys that wanted to get involved in our fight, and they would lay down on the street and not let the buses come into the practice facility that had the replacement players on them. We had guys throwing eggs at the buses, throwing rocks. I mean, it was chaos, because these guys were really upset. These guys were taking away their livelihood by being replacement players, by crossing the line, and it was not a nice situation for me to try and handle.
That was not a happy 6 weeks here in Las Vegas.
I learned a lot about leadership during that time. I tell you what, I gained a lot of respect as a leader during that time.
It was Sundays and.
Could you bet the games?
Oh yeah.
You bet the replacement games.
They had like 20-point lines and stuff.
Really?
Because some teams had some good college football players, and other teams had guys that they'd basically gotten out of a parking lot someplace at Home Depot. I mean, it was so that there was some strange. The Giants had some really bizarre guys on their team. Some of the guys were able to land jobs in the NFL.
No question about it.
How were they received?
The quarterback of our team, Brent Peace, he actually made our team after the strike was over and was our third team quarterback.
How was that in the locker room?
A guy named Eugene Seals, who came in as part of our replacement guys, made our football team because of that. So it was tough the first couple of weeks getting those guys to warm up to him, but once they had respect for him and saw they could play and help our team win, then they became regular parts of our football team. But at first, it was very, 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 very touchy around our locker room for a while after that.
Is it a misconception on our part, because we've both said this, that the NFL players among the three major sports, my apologies to the NHL, but among MLB, NBA, and NFL, the NFL players have kind of gotten the worst deal over the years, and just in terms of a variety of things, including retirement.
Is that
a misconception?
I think it is. I think they've really done a much better job, especially with retirement for the current players. They have 401k plans now where the organizations will match 2-to-1 what the player puts in. So there's so many ways now that in the amount of money that players are making today, there's no reason why they should ever go broke if they're smart with their money. The key is being smart with your money, but there's enough ways for them to, like I said, through these 401ks and the retirement plan, and then I think the retirement plan is only going to grow throughout this next labor agreement. It's going to probably double, if not triple, if they do it right. So I think it is something that's overblown. I think Major League Baseball has a great, strong union, no question about it. But you got to remember, we have a lot more players than those other sports do too. So that has something to do with it.
How strong is the mentoring programs that are available with ex-players, the alumni, helping young players who, get those first checks in their hand and can go a little bit nuts?
I think getting stronger and stronger. Every team right now has a player development director, and what he does, his job is to take care of those rookies that first year in the league. They have the symposium where they bring them all in as one big group, and then once they make the football team, every Monday they meet with that player development director, and he has somebody come in and speak to them about marriage counseling, about finances, about all these different things that keeps these guys' minds on what they need to be focused on as young players in the league. Not only the football part of it, but all the different things they're going to have to deal with becoming professional athletes. So I think they're doing a much better job of getting these guys prepared for what they have to deal with. Now it's up to the guy to take this knowledge that they're given and use it. If they don't use it, it's their fault because they're getting the information.
Let's jump to 2011. Warren Moon's with us and Steve and Dave down here at the Cosmo as part of the 11th annual Sports Dream Bowl. The bowling goes down tomorrow at Texas Station. We'll get into a little bowling in just a second.
Competitive out there.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. You guys are real athletes. 3 to 4 that goes down. What do you think of all the quarterbacks? It seemed to be a real run on quarterbacks and guys who weren't super highly regarded,
right,
say like 2 months out. I argued with you, right? Jake Locker was the one guy I mentioned, and I kept hearing over and over again, oh, he's slipping. When you go to workouts, and if you've got a gun and you're running a 4.6, they don't care. It's a need position. People will freak out. Did they freak out? Did they overdo it?
I don't know if they overdid it, but there were a lot of teams at the top of the draft that needed quarterbacks. And when you need a quarterback, and no matter what the caliber of that class is, you're going to go out and get one. Because say if people thought that Jake Locker was a second rounder, well, they don't want to wait around to the second round to try and get him if they feel like that's the guy they want, because somebody else might take him before they get their second round pick. So you're going to go ahead and take a quarterback. That is one position that if you see a guy that you want, you're going to go out and get him, and that's exactly what happened with him. And you've seen that with a lot of other quarterbacks. You saw the Buffalo Bills trade up to get J.P. Lossman a few years ago, and because they felt good about him. The Baltimore Ravens did the same thing with the kid from Cal, traded up to get him. It didn't work out for him, but when you see a guy that you like, you pretty much go get him if he's a quarterback.
You like Cam Newton, or you think he got a raw deal when people were analyzing his game?
I think he got a raw deal during his scouting process, no question about it, but he showed everybody in football, and football people are very knowledgeable. They're not going to go off of all what these analysts say. They're going to go off of their research. They're going to go off of what they see on the film and what they do through their interview process, and that's what they're going to draft off of. There's a lot of other people out there in the media and that still have some of these same ideas about African-American quarterbacks, but football people, I think, no. I don't care if you're green. If you can help me win football games, I'm going to go after you.
Let me mention one point about the media, because I flipped out on this. I heard a national radio show about a week ago talking about Terrell Pryor.
Yeah.
And they're like, if he doesn't play quarterback, could he be a return man his first year? I'm like, he's 6'5" and 250.
It's the thinking.
He's gigantic.
It's this narrow-minded thinking that just drives me insane. Is when are you going to learn that these guys can play the game? This guy was 21-4 in college in the Big Ten, MVP of 2 BCS bowl games. He's a physical specimen. All he needs to be is tweaked in his fundamentals as far as throwing the football, and he'll be great. Now, he's got some things to deal with off the field.
Yes, he does.
But I don't think what he did off the field is any different than what's going on at any university around this country. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. They just got caught like a lot of other people have gotten caught, but it's going on all over, and it's been going on for years. I talk to guys all the time that were paid money throughout college, different ways. It just happens, and it's going to continue to happen until the NCAA does something about it as far as giving these guys some type of stipends.